From Vincent J. Dvorak III Field at Toms River High School East, it's the game of the week on Channel 8, and tonight we do have a good one, fans. It's the Toms River East Raiders hosting their crosstown rivals, the Indians of Toms River South. Hi everyone, I'm Ken Turp, and a little bit later on, joining me to do the color tonight will be Ray Wilson. And of course tonight, it's not only a big game because it's a battle of crosstown rivals, and whenever you get two Toms River schools together, no matter what the records, there's going to be a lot of excitement. But also, the playoff hopes of both teams are on the line tonight. Toms River South is in South Jersey Group 3. They have a 4-2 record going into tonight's game. They can't afford to lose tonight if they want to go to those playoffs. And in the South Jersey Group 4, Toms River East, with a 5-1 record, is in a position to clinch a playoff berth with a victory tonight over their rivals to the south of town. George Jeck, of course, is the head coach of the Raiders, and he's very happy about the performance of his team on our game of the week 1 week ago tonight here on this field when they defeated a very good Southern Regional club. Not only defeated them, but Coach Ed Sarluca's defensive unit completely shut down Southern's really tough, hard-running and passing offensive football machine. So Toms River East coming off that win very sharp. The only problem tonight is, will they have a big letdown after going all out last week to beat that Southern team. On the other hand, Toms River South is coming in after a victory over the Lacey Lions in a game that they cracked open in the last quarter. But for 3 quarters, the new school down in Forked River gave the Indians some problems. But in that last quarter, the Indians, with better numbers, a little better quality as far as more good players, took over and then dominated the game and cracked it open. So if you're going to go psychologically, it's hard to figure out who's got the edge going into tonight's big ball game. I wanted to mention I have something here in my pocket. It's a lollipop, and there's a little story here on the pregame warm-ups for Toms River East. Coach George Jeck passes these out every week to his ball players. I got one tonight, and I wanted to know the story behind that. I talked to Coach Jeck this week, and it goes like this. A couple of years ago, George's daughter was starting out as an athlete at Central Regional High School, and George was a typical overzealous father and felt that he was putting a little pressure on his daughter to perform well in sports. So to remind himself, he started to give her a lollipop before any one of her sporting events at Central Regional. When he got the head coaching job here at Toms River East, he decided to remind himself that this is a game for kids. These are high school kids, they're here to have fun. He passes out lollipops to the whole squad and to his coaches before every game, and also on the last night of practice before the ball game on the weekend. And of course, if you've been to Brick games, you see Warren Wolf always passing out chewing gum to his players during warm-ups on the field before their game. That's the story behind the lollipops. Just about ready to go. As you see, East is warming up behind me in their black home uniforms. Toms River South sent their specialists out for their early warm-up. The rest of the team is coming out momentarily. Ray Wilson's a little late tonight. He's involved with coaching girls tennis at Lakewood High School, and they have a state tournament game up in North Jersey, and that's the reason why he's not here for the pregame show. The weather is cold tonight, very breezy, but again, like last week, the players should love playing under these conditions. And that about sets the stage for this big ball game, and we'll be back to meet the players in just a moment. And now it's time to meet the starting lineup for the Toms River East High School Raiders as they come into this game with a 5-1 record. These are the offensive regulars for Toms River East. At split end, wearing number 36, a 5'11", 185-pound senior, Bob Valente. Alternating with Bob at the split end position, wearing number 82, a 6', 160-pound senior, Don Petalunas. At left tackle, number 76, a 5'11", 230-pound senior, Terry Morris. At the left guard position, number 62, 5'11", 190-pound senior, Jim Martin. The offensive center for the Raiders, number 56, a 6', 190-pound senior, Chris Schultz. On the right side of the line, wearing number 66 at guard, 5'10", 215-pound senior, Chuck Seigler. At the right tackle position, number 77, 6'1", 230-pound senior, Jim Verderosa. And the tight end, number 87, 6'3", 188-pound junior, last week's Channel 8 Player of the Game, Jay McKelvey. Also, number 86 playing tight end, 5'7", 165 pounds, a junior, Adam Glanzman. In the backfield, a quarterback, number 8, 5'11", 160-pound junior, Joe Scott. Also at quarterback for Toms River East, number 11, 6'1", 165-pound junior, John Sharaba. The fullback for East, number 47, 6'2", 220-pound senior, played a great game defensively against Southern last week, Chris Schiavo. At the halfback position, number 24, 5'4", 150-pound senior, Vinnie Gearity. Also at halfback, number 28, 5'10", 170-pound senior, and a Channel 8 player of the game earlier in the season, Pat Slevin. At wingback, number 21, 5'8", 150-pound senior, Sal Chiarella. In the running back positions, number 32, 5'9", 150-pound junior, Bruce Russell. And wearing number 44, another running back, 5'4", 155 pounds, he's a senior, Glenn Clark. And we're going to meet the offensive coaches for Toms River East. And gentlemen, come on over here. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves.
Jack Bush, offensive ends.
Jack, tell me a little bit about what you want to get out of your ends tonight against Toms River South.
We hope we can get some aggressive blocking from them and get some good downfield blocking, and also run their patterns as well as we can so we get in the right position.
Have the kids come back down to earth after the big victory last week, or maybe I should say have the coaches come back down to earth?
Yeah, we're right down to earth. We know we have a hard ball game here. This is the kind of game where you just throw the records out, and it's a crosstown rival. You know, we're ready to play ball.
Okay, Jack, good luck.
Thank you very much.
Okay, our next coach, and come on up here.
Rick Dispoto, offensive line coach.
Now, Rick, I'm going to ask you the same thing. Basically, what's your offensive line have to do tonight, the kind of offense you're going to run against the Indians?
Well, we just hope that when we throw the ball, we can keep the defensive line off Joey Scott and open up a few holes. Toms River South's defensive line, they like to play off the blocks fairly quick, so we have to maintain our blocks and stay with them.
Okay, Rick, have a good game.
Thank you very much.
Okay, also offensive coach for Toms River East.
Mike Conlon, offensive backs.
All right, Mike, tell me what you want to get out of your offensive backs tonight. What are we going to see them do against Toms River South's defense?
We'd like to get all the backs into the action and use an offense which employs 2 and 3 backs so that they can't key anyone. We have a couple of good backs. We've had a couple of good games out of them. We like to balance out the attack and use all of them.
All right, good luck to your backs.
Thank you very much.
Okay. And one of the coaches from Toms River South here, Bill.
How you doing? Okay.
All right. Well, I don't think we're going to get a chance to meet the Indians, but how about a comment on tonight's game from Toms River South's viewpoint?
Well, this is a big game for us. You know, it's another Toms River school. We know we're coming up against a good football team. You know, they played Brick really tough, and they beat Southern Regional last week. So we know we're in for a ball game, but we feel we can play with almost anybody, and our kids are geared for a good effort tonight.
I talked to Chip last week after the Lacey game, and I would think you have to be pretty proud of the way they bounced back after the loss of the #1 team in the state, Brick, and they came back and beat Lacey.
Yeah, Lacey gave us a good fight. You know, it was 7-7 going into the 4th quarter, and we knew we were in for a rough ball game from the start, and we were proud of our kids the way they hung in there tough, you know. And we had lost 2 tough ball games. We had gotten cleaned up by Brick and Southern Regional, so our kids came back, and I think Mr. LeBlanca did a great job bringing them back.
All right, is everybody healthy now? I know Biancasi's been out hurt. I don't think he's going to play tonight, but outside of Brian, is everybody else okay for the game?
Well, our starting safety, strong safety, Kirk Stenner, who's been playing good football for us all year, he dislocated his elbow in the game against Lacey, and he's out for at least the next 2 games. He may be back for Lakewood. He's definitely not going to play tonight.
Who's going to take his place, Hanley?
Pat Hanley will be back in action, yeah.
Okay. To all the Indians, we wish you good luck tonight.
What was that, Coach?
I said to all the Indians, we're going to wish you good luck in tonight's big ball game.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks,
Bill.
Bill.
Okay, that's Coach Bill Rankin of the Toms River South staff. The Toms River East band is coming on right in front of me, and we'll be back with a kickoff in just a moment. And there you see the lights of Seaside across the bay as we get ready for tonight's big ball game. Toms River East and Toms River South, we had a combined playing of the national anthem by both teams' bands together on the field. And we are ready to go with this big ball game. And Ray Wilson's really cutting it close tonight, but he made it, and he is here. And Ray, we almost had Dick Piskel come out of retirement to step up at the mic and do the game. Last time Dick and I worked together was 1976 on the Toms River South Camden State Playoff Final down at Camden High School. Let me tell you, the first quarter is coming your way tonight by our sponsors, the New Jersey National Bank, along with Blair's Rental Service, Luigi's Deli, and Carolina Furniture. And I'm giving Ray a chance to catch his breath here. The officials for tonight, we are one name short. We don't know who the fifth official is. I managed to come up with 4 names. Larry Barnson, Bill Waldire, who is a veteran. He's done many games in all sports here in the Shore area, one of the better officials. John Candace is operating the clock. And an old friend of mine, John Villapiano, the brother of the Buffalo Bills, Phil Villapiano, is also here tonight, officiating tonight's ball game down on the field. The captains have just met. Toms River South has won the toss. They will receive and go right to left in their traveling white uniforms with a maroon trim. And Toms River East in the all-black silver. And as Dick Piskel said to me, Ray, before the game when they were warming up, the bad guys against the good guys. East all in black, the old Oakland Raiders bad guy image.
Well, I think that's what Coach George Jeck is trying to project a little bit. Not the bad guy, but just that the color, the tough image, and I think it does have that effect on the other team.
Who won the tennis match today, Ray? That's why we might explain why you're late. You're coaching girls tennis at Lakewood High School, and a state tournament's going on.
Well, they gave us a 4 o'clock starting time, and then when we got there, they changed the starting time to 5 o'clock. But Susan Morrissey continued her streak. She's now 19-0 as she defeated a girl from Cinnaminson High School in 2 sets.
Where were you?
Somerset, New Jersey.
Down in South.
Up.
Where is that? Somerset County?
Somerset was up by right near Bridgewater Raritan East High School.
That's one area I'm not familiar with.
Neither am I. That's why we're late.
All right, we're about ready to go. Pat Slevin, one of the captains out there for East, along with number 24, Gearity. And across the way, it was Tommy Forrester, offensive captain of the Indians, along with Joe McHarris, defensive captain, who wears number 76. George Jeck, there you see Coach Jeck in the center of his huddle, standing up, talking to his team. And I had a chance to talk to the coaches after last week's game, and they were ecstatic about their defensive performance against Southern Regional. And of course, they come into tonight's ball game sky high to go into the playoffs. Toms River South, Ray, I said on the pregame show, also alive in South Jersey Group 3 playoff picture.
Yeah, both teams are alive, and it's a very big ball game. Neither team can really afford to lose another football game. Edgewood High School in the Group 4 division sitting over there with a tie, which would give them 1 more point than somebody with 2 losses. And in the South Jersey Group 3, Ken, there are a number of teams with fantastic records. Dropping back to receive this kickoff, our player of the game last week, number 33, Danny McHarris. He was the offensive co-player of the game, along with Tommy Forrester. Across the way, number 34 is Jimmy Ware. Kicking off for Toms River East is big number 77, Jim Verderosa. And this game is just about underway. This should promise to be an exciting matchup. Here we go. Low kick, and it's going to be a short one. Returned by Ken Scott, number 82, and he's up to the 40-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Indians. Ken, I think that right away at the beginning of the game we'll have a test of the East defense. South has come out and scored early on a lot of people. The offensive backfield for the Indians, Tom Forrester is number 11, the quarterback, Jimmy Ware, 34, and Dan McHarris, 33, the running backs. Bob Hageman, the flanker, 44. Split end, John Forrester, replacing Brian Biankowski, who was injured. Forrester throws on 1st down. He's got Lloyd, the tight end, number 83, right in front of our East bench. Tackle made by number 24, Gearity. Tight end is Mike Lloyd, who caught that ball, number 83, a 6', 180-pound junior. The offensive line for the Indians, Rob Wheeler, number 55, the center. The guards are Jim Panzini, number 60, and Frank Fatuski, number 64. Mike Jordan, number 78, and Richard Sherm, number 73, are the tackles for Toms River South. High formation. Fullback McHarris, and he has really hit hard, but not before he picked up the 1st down for Toms River South. Good tackle by those Raiders. And remember last week, Ray, Schiavo made some really tough hits, and they just shut off Modulowski and Malvey And Schiavo, I understand, was assigned to go wherever Mouthy went last week.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job, and as Ron Emmert was quoted in saying, there it is right there. He goes off, gets the first down, but a good hit. But back to Southern Regional, they said that their offensive line had not been controlled that way all year.
1st and 10 for the Indians, just across midfield at the Toms River East 49-yard line.
Ken, once again, as the Indians have done all year, they start off quickly offensively. They seem to give teams a lot of problems with their various offensive looks and passing game.
That front four on the East defense, Jay McKelvey, our player of the game last week, number 87, the left end, Chuck Seigler, 66, and Chris Schultz, 56, are the interior linemen, and Jim Verderosa, number 77, is the defensive right end for Toms River East. Lloyd, the tight end, shifts to the left side. Long count by Forrester. Straight up the middle goes McHarris, and he gets about 3 or 4 yards. Tackle is made by number 56, Chris Schultz. The linebackers for Toms River East, Bob Chevrier, number 34, Chris Schiavo inside, number 47. Tony Infante played a great game last week, Ray, as a new man. He's number 38, and Mark Yates, he's number 7.
Yeah, he did a super job for the Raiders last week.
Again, McHarris up the middle, and it's going to be short of a first down by about 2 yards.
And up front, Ken, for the Indians, Panzini, number 60, is doing a super job of blocking for the front line of the Toms River South Indians.
3rd and a little over a yard. We'll call it 2. The ball is at the East 41. Indians come out. Now probably shift that tight end. They do. Lloyd goes to the right side this time. And Forrester hands off to his running back. First down for Toms River South. And we have a new man in there, Wayne Dial, I believe.
Jay McKelvey, number 87, made the stop.
Yeah, Wayne's 5'7", 148 pounds, is a senior.
Ball is at the 37-yard line.
Ken, it does look like early here that the varied Indian offense is giving the Raiders a little bit of trouble.
Indians moving the football on the opening series of plays here. Again, Dial, number 22, and he gets some good yardage before he's tackled by Jay McKelvey, the defensive left end. There's George Jeck on the sidelines there, marching up and down with a headset on, talking to his coaches up in the press box up above.
Yeah, that time South gave a little influence to the offensive left hand and ran a little inside counter back to the right side of the line.
There's a big hole for fullback McHarris. He fumbles. He was very close to another first down, and they do give it to the Indians. And on the recovery, Bob Hageman, number 44. Here's a replay, Ray. Let's watch the hole here. He's very quick into the secondary.
Yeah, tremendous job by the line up front. Watch this. They come out, run on a quick count.
Right up the middle. So Bob Hageman saves the ball for the Indians and keeps this drive in motion. Another first down for Toms River South. Williams in motion. Again, Dial, 22, stopped in his tracks. Could not get to the line of scrimmage. Chevrier, number 34, who is the linebacker on the outside, came up and made the stop. And Ray, here's a replay. Let's watch what Chevrier does here.
Watch, they set an I formation. They put a wing right, and they bring him back in motion and try to influence the defense away. They do get a little movement out of the end. There it is. And the back didn't quite read the block right that time. The up back kicked his man out, McHarris, and the back went in the same direction as the block.
Dial sets up as the wing back on the left. 2nd and 13, Hageman in motion. Forrester rolling to the near side, throws the short man, a tight end Lloyd, and he cannot hold on to the football. Making the stop, or the coverage, is Yatesy, Mark Yatesy, outside linebacker, number 7.
Yeah, that was good coverage by the East Raiders that time, and it leaves the South with a 3rd and 12 here.
At the 23-yard line. So the Indians have opened up with several first downs here. Now the Raiders getting a little tougher as they get into East territory.
And Ken, South has held the ball here. We got 7:03 to go in the first quarter.
Again, they shift the tight end right to left. Williams is the wing back on the left. Forrester, no, I don't know if that's on purpose or not, Ray. He looked around, nobody to hand it to, and he threw it. Might have been by design because the tight end was open, Lloyd.
Yeah, I think that...
Let's watch this. Watch his reaction here and see if this is an accident or by design.
I think there was supposed to be a back there to make a fake, too. I think we saw the end result of the play, but I think we were supposed to have a fake.
4th and 9 from the 23-yard line.
Well, it didn't bother Forrester. He still hit Lloyd, the tight end.
Great job. Showed a lot of poise and didn't panic and still hit his receiver.
Indians need a big play. 4th and 9. Forrester wants to throw for it. And intercepted. Intercepted by Sal Chiarella, number 21. And Chiarella fumbles the ball. Now let's see if the Indians get it right back. They do. And we're going to have a wild game here, Ray. If the first quarter is going to be any indication. Sal Chiarella intercepted the ball. Was intended for Hageman. Let's watch the replay on this. He steps right in front of Hageman.
And watch Forrester's drop. It's a good drop.
A good return.
At the 30-yard line.
There's the hit that caused the
hit.
fumble. And that was by number 60, Jim Panzini, the offensive guard, made the hit that caused the fumble. Indians back in business. Dial on the carry. Now, we didn't see much of Dial last week as a running back, and here he is in the early part of the ball game, right, getting a lot of chance to run the football.
Yeah, just to go back to Panzini. Panzini's been blocking well offensively and then comes along and makes the big defensive play on the turnover.
After they saw that hit, they're liable to have him out there playing defense.
Yes. Excellent hit.
2nd and 6 for Toms River South, and they're keeping the football away from the Raiders. We got 5 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Forrester fakes and throws. He's got Dial. He completes it. Tripped up by Yatesy, number 7. Going to be short of the first down if they mark it where he hit. They are going to mark it short of that yard marker. It's going to be 3rd and about a yard.
3rd down and about 1 yard to go for a first down.
Well, Ken, we're down to 4:56 of the first quarter, and the Raiders have yet to run an offensive play.
That secondary for East has Sal Chiarella on the left side corner. He's the one that intercepted the pass, number 21. Vinnie Gearity, 24. On the right side, Joe Scott is the safety man, number 8. We have an official's timeout. Now they're ready to go. Here's McCarris, and McCarris has a first down and more as he's down to about the 15-yard line.
Joe Scott, Tony Infante on the stop.
1st and 10 Indians. Indians on the march here in the first quarter.
Yep, South offensive line is doing something that the Southern Regional line couldn't do last week, and that is they are controlling the line of scrimmage right now.
Bob Hageman back in for the Indians with a play to quarterback Tommy Forrester. Again, they shift this time into the eye. Tight end to the right. Long count. Forrester hands off to Dial, off the right side. And Dial's going to get some yardage. He's down to about the 11. Got a 4-yard gain on the play, and we'll take a break. We'll be right back. There's a shot of the scoreboard to our left as the timeout has been called. Indians in their huddle. The Raiders wanted to talk it over here, and Ed Sarluca is instructing his defensive unit. And here the Indians, something Southern wasn't able to do all last week. Indians have done the first series of plays is drive the ball right down their throat.
Well, they're doing something that most coaches like. They're controlling the game offensively. They're keeping the hands out of the Raider offense, and its best defense can be a good offense at times.
Ray, on the pregame show, I was telling a story about George Jeck passing out the lollipops. I asked him during the week what the story was behind that. And it started with his daughter, who was a great athlete at Central, just graduated last year, one of the best track performers in the state. Putting pressure on his daughter was what he was doing, and he wanted to remind himself that she's just a kid, so he started giving out lollipops, and that's why he does it here. He said, these are just high school kids, and I want to keep reminding them that it's a game for the kids.
That's a very good point, and I think a lot of people forget that.
Here we go. Indians are ready. They shift the tight end to the right side. I formation, 2nd down and 6. Williams in motion to the near side. Forster hands off to McHarris off the right side. He's going to be short of the 1st down. He's inside the 10-yard line to about the 9. 3rd down coming up and about 3. Chris Schiavo calling those defensive signals, the inside linebacker, number 47 for the Raiders. Again, McHarris looking for the 1st down. Again, off the right side. Now let's see where the officials mark the ball. Very close.
And Ken, the Indians have had a lot of success running to their offensive right hand or the left side of the Raider defense.
About a half a yard short. 4th and under a yard to go. Here come the Indians, a very big play here early in the ball game. Indians at about the 8-yard line. 4th and a yard. McHarris gets the call, and the Raiders stack him up. I don't think he made it.
No, I don't think he got it, Ken.
Gang tackling by the left side of the Raiders defense. Gearity on the bottom. Schiavo, the whole gang in there. Chevrier, they were all there to meet it. Big defensive play for Toms River East.
Ken, is the old football cliche you hear in the NFL all the time, they bent but they didn't break. The East defense bent but they hung in there.
This will be the first Toms River East play of the ball game on offense. They've only had their hands on the football once, and that was on the interception by Chiarella. Chiarella goes in motion. Schiavo ridden out of bounds. Not much of a game. Raiders just trying to get some breathing room right now.
And that first offensive play, Ken, came with a little over 2 minutes left in the first period.
Picked up about a yard, maybe 2. It'll be 2nd. We'll call it 9 yards to go. Into the ball game, alternating with Slevin is Gearity, number 24. Joe Scott's the quarterback. It'll be Gearity and Schiavo, the running backs. Jay McKelvey, the tight end, number 87. Bob Valente, 36, is the split end for Toms River East. Sherrill in motion. And they're not going to, well, Slevin's, or Gearity's still fighting.
Yeah, he came out of there, Ken. I thought the
Looked
play
like
was
a stack
ended.
up, and then all of a sudden he emerged. That's a couple of yards.
Ken, right now, just a little observation, and I don't know whether you feel it or notice it. I think that the East Raiders are a little flat. Their backs don't seem to be running with the quick feet and authority that they ran with last week right now.
It could have been a draining week last week against Southern, and something that could be expected. All right, Valente comes split to the near side. Sherrill in a slot. 3rd and 7. And here comes Slevin into the secondary. Slevin has a 1st down. Tackled by number 40, Ernie Williams, a sophomore safety man for Toms River South. 1st and 10 for the Raiders.
Scott Brewer, 32, makes the tackle for the Indians. 1st and 10.
Here's the replay.
Can you look at this? We get a good shot. Once you break through this front 7 of the Indian defense here, there does seem to appear to be a lot of air.
And the Raiders get their 1st down of the night. First down tonight for the Raiders. Gearity still on his feet, and Gearity manages to pick up some good yardage off the left side. Making the stop for the Indians was number 42, Tom Malik, a sophomore defensive back.
The Raider line, the offense seems to, of course, Ken, they didn't touch the ball much in the first quarter, and that might have been the reason why they weren't looking very impressive at that point. A lot of those offensive people stood around a long time.
Ball's at the 31, and that's the end of the first quarter. We have no scores. The Indians just about dominated the whole first quarter with their ball control, and that was that first quarter went by very quickly. We'll be back after this. Getting some interesting stats from Tony Graham, the Asbury Park Press. 18 plays for South, 4 for East in that first quarter. Gives you an idea of the domination by the Indians on ball control. First play here is going nowhere as the Indians stack it up. Bialuck, number 56, Mike Bialuck, the linebacker. And we want to make an apology to Mike. Last week we did not have his number correct, and we did not know who number 56 was. He was 50 on the roster, but it was Mike Bialuck, and we apologize to Mike for not being aware of the jersey change in that Lacey game for the Indians last week. Mike Bialuck is the left linebacker for Toms River South, number 56. He's a junior. Here's a pass by Scott, and a diving catch by Chiarella is complete. First down for Toms River East. They move the ball out to the 42-yard line.
Yeah, Ken, on that previous play, number 71, Bob Allen, also made a super defensive play.
Let's run down an offensive line. Chris Schultz is the center for the Raiders. Chuck Seigler and Jim Martin are the guards. Verderosa and Terry Morris are the tackles. Schiavo takes the pitch around the right side, dumped behind the line of scrimmage, and a loss of a yard on the play. It'll be second down and 11 for the Raiders.
Ken, I don't think it'll be too much longer. I think that we're going to see Toms River East try to throw the ball on the flats against this Indian defense. It appears to be that might be an area that is open for the passing game.
That Indian defense has Joe McHarris moved out to end, as he did last week against Lacey, number 76 on the left side. George Maurer and Doug Palhemus will alternate at left tackle. Mauer's 52, Palhemus is 77. I'll give you the rest in a moment. Chiarella's in motion for the Raiders. Here comes the draw, and Slevin almost a first down. I think they're going to move it back a couple yards where his knee hit, and he'll be about 3 yards short of the first down. Bob Allen, Ray, is a new man in there. You weren't here for the Lacey game last week, but let's watch this replay right now.
Third down and 4 from the east.
A reverse pivot, a draw play, and he hits the hole very, very quickly, and the knee just touched down there. He would have had a first down.
Bob Allen didn't come out for football until after the first game, Ray. He was a defensive back, as you can see by his size, 5'9", 150. They moved him up to the front line. They say he's so quick off the ball that they want to leave him there at tackle. Here's a 3rd and 4. Joe Scott was lucky to make the handoff. He was really hit by Bob Allen, the man we were just talking about. And they're going to be short of the first down on the carry by Gearity. It'll be 4th down and 2 or 3 coming up, and the Raiders have to punt the ball away from midfield.
Yeah, Ken, with that kind of size in there, that is surprising, and he must be a little bit, besides being quick, he must be very strong.
All right, Verderosa at the 35-yard line awaiting a snap. No rush. He gets a high one to the far side of the field. Ernie Williams. Williams still on his feet, 10-yard, 11-yard return. Finally ridden down at the 31-yard line.
Ken, it's really great to look out there and you see the enthusiasm that takes place in these crosstown games in Toms River, the Northeast game and the Southeast game right here in the yet-to-come Civil War. But it's really a great thing for high school football. Of course, you bring back some of the old-timers. They want to know what happened to Atlantic Highlands and Leonardo.
Well, Leonardo got absorbed by Middletown. Atlantic Highlands doesn't play football anymore, as Henry Hudson. Indians get a nice gain off the left side of about 6 yards. On the carry was Danny McHarris, the fullback. And it's going to be 2nd down and call it 3 for the Indians. Good way to start off a drive.
Ken, just to go back to those in 50 or 51, Toms River had a great football team, and their 2 toughest games were against Atlantic Highlands and Leonardo.
2nd down play. And there's a good hole for McHarris. McHarris into the Raiders secondary. Another first down for Toms River South, and McHarris is picking up where he left off last week against the Lacey Lions.
Yeah,
1st and 10 at the 45. Ray, here's a replay.
And McHarris shows real good speed, hitting up into the hole very, very quick. Little inside handoff. And McHarris possibly a little bit almost broke that one.
Gearity came over from the right corner position to make the tackle. McHarris is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Chris Schiavo put a hit on. He managed to fall forward, might have got a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Gain was for about 1. 2nd and 9.
Chris Schiavo, Ray, talking to the East coaches after the game last week, they said, we're going to assign you to Mouthy, the fullback. He's the key to the Southern running game. He's their toughest kid. We want you to go where he goes, and he was up for the challenge. He liked the idea of getting the toughest kid from Southern, and he really went after him. And that was a good meeting of 2 really tough kids.
Yeah, he did a super job.
Here's the pass by Forrester. He's got Lloyd, the tight end. And Lloyd is written down by Chevrier, number 34. Also in there, Yatesy, number 7, and number 38. Also in on this stop for East is Tony Infante, the new man who came in last week to start and really did a great job.
Yeah, the Indians are doing a great job of exploiting the Raider flat right now. They're throwing the ball out there real well and doing a lot of it off of play action.
Clock showing 6 minutes and 24 seconds of running here in the 2nd quarter. Indians continue to move the football on the Raider defense. McHarris goes straight up the middle. Behind the blocking of number 78,
Dan McHarris, 33.
Mike Jordan,
For the first down.
and Rob Wheeler leading the blocking there for the Indians.
Schiavo with the defensive play.
And Wheeler, the center, did a real good job on that particular play.
First and 10 Indians.
I think you can see there, Ken, the people can see the offensive plays for Tom's River South. They're being sent in to the quarterback from the coaching staff.
Williams goes to the far side as the flanker. Here comes the inside handoff as the wingback came around. McHarris stopped by Chevrier. And there's been a question on how to pronounce his name. The coach has said Chevrier. When he introduced himself last week, he said Chevrier. His father come up to me the night before the game. I said, hey, I got a question for you. How is your name pronounced? He says Chevrier. That's the way it's going to be. If the father says it's Chevrier, that's what it's going to be, Chevrier. 2nd and 9. Lloyd, the tight end, goes to the left side. Hageman's the wingback. Fake to 2 backs, pass to Lloyd. And Lloyd's going to get a couple of yards. Very quick coverage by Yatesy, the outside linebacker, on the play for the Raiders.
And the South is controlling the football with the short passing game at this time.
Here's a replay, Ray.
On the 30-yard line.
Fakes to 2 backs.
Little double fake inside, and the back tight end just went out a little slant pattern. They hit him quickly in the flat.
It'll be 3rd and 7 for Tom's River South. Indians in the huddle a long time. They're going to make it quick here. They continue to shift on every play. Forrester is hit and dumped as Pat Slevin was blitzing, and Forrester never had a chance.
No, that was a super defensive play. Nobody picked up the blitzer, and Forrester paid the price.
4th and about 14. Ball at about the 36.
Well, East has made the big defensive play when they've needed it so far.
Loss of about 7, 4th and 12. Again, Slevin puts the pressure on flag. We may have a roughing. No, maybe a holding call. Let's see. Slevin got to Forrester once again. Forrester is mad.
I think we have intentional grounding.
Forrester does not like it.
Well, I'd like to see the replay on it. There's a receiver there.
We won't have the replay, but Slevin did the same thing he did on the previous play. He came charging in from the left side of Forrester, and Forrester never had a chance.
Well, the South offense has looked very, very good, but they haven't been able to put the ball in the end zone so far.
Intentional grounding is the call. Joe Scott is given his option here, and Scott takes the penalty. Another 5 yards from the, now Ray, is that from the point? of the grounding. How's that work in high school football?
That was from the, I'm not sure, Ken, but I don't believe that was from the line of scrimmage. It
Looked like it from the point of the foul.
grounding, yeah.
So the Raiders have the football after everything is done, and they'll have a first down. Indians call timeout. The Raiders have a first down at the Toms River South 46-yard line. We'll be back in just a moment. Posters, flyers, business forms, invitations, and all your printing needs. It's the Office Copy Center Printing Company of Toms River, home of the one-day business card. Call 349-4611. That's 349-4611. Ray, we just got a stat from Tony Graham on Danny McHarris.
And McHarris has carried the ball 13 times for 56 yards so far. Excellent first half.
Well, the Raiders on offense for the second time tonight, they haven't had much of a chance to keep the football. Scott wants to throw on first down, going long, and almost caught by Valente, the split end, number 36. Williams was back there, number 40, and he batted the ball and was almost caught by Valente.
Yeah, the receiver broke open. It was started out to look like an excellent defensive play by the defensive back for Toms River South.
Chris Schiavo back into the lineup for the Raiders at fullback. This is 2nd and 10. Chiarella goes to the far side as the flanker. Valente split to the near side, I formation. Scott goes to the tailback, right up the middle, and here's a good strong run for a first down by Pat Slevin. He's all the way down to the 29-yard line.
Yeah, he hit the hole again, real strong, Ken, and that's that one thing we talked about before. Once you clear that front 7 for the Toms River South Indians, there's a lot of daylight there. Now you see it, they're in like a 4-3 defense. Basically looks a lot like a 7 diamond to me, and once you clear those front people, there's a lot of air.
Ray, if there's a back that really can break things open and spark the Raider offense, it has to be Slevin. He is their quickest back.
Yeah, Slevin's explosive.
Again, they go to the tailback. This time, Bialuk, 56, drags him down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on a play, as this time it was Gearity from the tailback position. 2nd and 10 coming up. Well, they're going to say his progress was a yard more than I thought it was. It'll be 2nd and 9. It'll give him a yard on a play.
Ken, while we're talking on Pat Slevin, not only is Slevin a nice football player, but he's a super kid, as we found out in that interview.
Those linebackers for the Indians, we mentioned Bialuk on the left side. Ken Scott, who's been solid all year, is the middle linebacker, and Scott Brewitt, who's been starting since a sophomore year, he's a junior now, is the other linebacker. There's a hole now for the wingback, Chiarella. Chiarella inside the 10-yard line to about the 8. Tackled by Williams, a safety, number 40.
Yeah, key block there by Chuck Seigler, I believe, on that play, number 66. And also, one of the backs was out there. Might have been Slevin throwing a block.
Now the Raiders, for the first time tonight, showing a spark on offense, and here is the replay. Wing back around. 1st and 10, Raiders. Slevin trying to get outside. He does. He turns the corner, and Slevin's going to go in for a touchdown. A 14-yard touchdown run by Slevin. Here's the replay. Well, that was the previous play there. Here's the touchdown play right here. All right, we're going to give it a 16 yards. We're trying to determine the distance.
Either way, Ken, it's 6.
Verderosa, high, here's the fake. They're going to go with a pass. Yatesy, and he doesn't have a chance. He's nailed. Coming through there to make the play was Scott Galanos, number 3, and number 7, Bob Laffer. I think that was intentional, wasn't it, Ray, the high pass?
Yeah, it looked like the Raiders had something up there and didn't quite pull it off, but they have a 6-point lead. And what we're talking about here right now, Ken, is the South offense has been very, very impressive. Forrester's done a great job moving the ball, faked well, hit the short passing game. McHarris has run well, but they haven't been able to get the ball into the end zone. The East offense has been productive. They've scored.
The time, 1 minute 33 seconds left in the first half. Raiders up 6-0 over Toms River South. The second quarter is coming your way by the New Jersey National Bank, along with Carolina Furniture, Service Star Hardware, and Gem Furniture. Flags on the play. This will not count. Remind you fans, we have a doubleheader again here on Channel 8 this weekend. Tomorrow night, tune in for the Southern Regional Lakewood game at Southern Regional High School. And doing that game with me will be Bob Strangia, the former coach of the Red Bank Buccaneers.
And Ken, that's a big football game. The Rams looking to rebound after a big game with Toms River East last week, and the Lakewood Pioneers coming off a week's rest and ready to play some football.
And both of those clubs are in the playoff picture. Southern still has hopes, even though they have 2 defeats. And Lakewood, 4-2 record in South Jersey Group 3, same spot the Indians are fighting for. All right, short kick. It's going to be McHarris, and McHarris is going to give the Indians excellent field position as he returns the ball to about the 41-yard line.
Yeah, Ken, just to comment on the playoffs, the big problem that all the teams are having is A South. They're just knocking each other off, and when they step outside the league, they're winning. But they're just beating each other's brains out and limiting the number of teams that are going to get into the tournament.
Ray, we were talking about Camden and Toms River South in that game a few years ago. What a difference a couple of years makes. Camden had gotten beat last week 42-0 by a good Pope Paul team of Haddonfield. Forrester wants to throw, and he couldn't find a man open. He had a lot of time, and he just apparently couldn't find anybody open, and finally Seigler comes in and puts him on the ground.
Yeah, the receivers were covered. Forrester hung in there well, however, but the defense finally got to him.
Here's the replay, Ray. Watch how he sets up in the pocket here.
Stays in there well, and there's just too many Raiders.
Big loss on the play. That's going to be a loss of about 10 yards. So we'll call it 2nd and 20. Here comes McHarris.
They've run that little inside counter play well this weekend.
McKelvey made the initial hit. Harris fell forward. Chevrier came in, also helped out. Verderosa back in for Toms River East at defensive end, and they'll pull out one of the backs. Slevin will come out. Still 3rd and about 15, Ray. And that is the end of the half. A very quick first half tonight, Ray.
Yeah, well, there were a limited number of timeouts, and the ball game was controlled early and by the South short passing game, and here we are.
So the score: Toms River East 6, Toms River South nothing. And we'll be back. We're going to be talking to a bear at halftime. Background here at the football games with your crew of electricians. Tell me what this is all about.
Well, Ken, since I was a electricity teacher at High School South, we took care of the communication system when I coached football there. Then when I moved over to North, we took over the one at North, and at one time we did all 3. The first year that we were here, we did all 3 communication systems. But the move here at East is really great for the vocational programs because our students are involved in a lot of things that go on around the school. We take care of the telephones here at the game. We wired the field house. We did the press box. And we're allowed to do some things outside of the classroom work that we do, which is a great thing for us. And Mr. Piskel, our principal, is 100% behind us. So it gives the kids a lot of things to do, and it surely helps our vocational program here at the high school.
How many do you have on your staff?
Well, at the football games, we usually have 4 or 5. What I do is I have seniors that take care of most of the temporary things, and then they break the younger boys in, and then next year we just follow the cycle so that every year each kid knows what to do, and they really run it by themselves, and if there's any major problems, then I'll help them with that.
So if anything goes wrong with the PA announcing, they come to you right away?
Right, and then usually, well, I'll let them try to do it themselves, and if they can figure out what it is, then they, you know, it's a little bit better thing for them to try to figure it out for themselves. But if it's a major problem, then they come to me and I'll assist.
All right. Since I got you on here, basketball's not too far off. So here's a chance now to plug Tom's of East basketball. What's the outlook for the Raiders? Because I know we'll be doing a lot of your games. Joe Scott, the quarterback of the football team, is going to be one of the standouts in the backcourt for you.
I'll tell you, I've sort of been holding Joey back a little bit. In the freshman year, we didn't move him up till the second half of the year. We broke him in slowly. Last year, he sort of took over and ran things. And Joey has certainly matured, as has Jimmy Verderosa. I'm expecting a lot, and I think that a lot of teams in Ocean and Monmouth County are going to hear a lot about Joe Scott's basketball this year.
Who do you think are going to be the top teams in A-South?
Well, I'll tell you, with Jim Runke back, who I have a lot of respect for, he's a sensational defensive coach, and I think you have to look for Southern to be at the top, followed by Toms River High School South, and then, of course, you always have Lakewood. They're always tough. And then from then on, it'll be about even down the road. We're looking, you know, what I like to tell my kids are, and this is sort of a rebuilding year for us, believe it or not, in only our 3rd year. What we would like to do is at least split with the big teams, and then I think we got a shot at the thing.
I got to ask you, when is the opening basketball game? When's the date, and who are you going to play?
We open up against St. Joe's on December 11th at home, followed by Manasquan December the 12th at home.
That sounds like a good opener for, we haven't made up the schedules yet, but that sounds like a good opener. Jimmy Dolan, All-State, the defending state champs in parochial ball, St. Joe against your Toms of East team.
Right, and then we go to Manasquan, who last year won the B-South, and then we go to Lakewood, who last year won the A-South, and then we go to Jackson, and they're always tough, Jackson, defensively, and they like to hold the ball on you. So we're going to see 4 completely different teams all in the beginning, and they're all usually pretty competitive.
Well, we're going to look for a big year from you, and we want to get you on, give it all the guys on your crew. We want to say, you know, we credit them for the hard work they do here behind the scenes with the football program. And Jack, I know your son's playing football over at Central Regional, and we got Central and Toms River East next week. Who are you going to be rooting for with your son playing tight end for the Eagles?
Very difficult. I'm sure that my wife will be over on the Central side, but what I thought I would do is probably spend half of the game, you know, Don Musselman had this problem last year too, probably half of the game sitting in Central side and then the other half on the sidelines here with East.
He's noted as John Brace, but you call him Scott, right?
Right. You see, when he was born, I didn't want him to be strapped with my name if he didn't want it, so I called him Scott, and it ended up everybody calls him John anyway.
Okay. Jack, good luck to you in basketball, and thanks for coming on.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Okay. We want to pick up the Toms of East band as they play behind us with Danny's American and the Berkeley Machine Shop. And bringing you the 3rd quarter tonight, along with the New Jersey National Bank, are the other participating sponsors, Carolina Furniture, Richards Motors South, and House of Paneling. Ken Turp with Ray Wilson. Ray, you have some stats on the first half.
Yeah, Ken, some interesting stats, some interesting things show up. Toms River South ran 29 plays, has 7 first downs. McHarris carried the ball 14 times for 60 yards. Forrester was 5 for 7 for 25 yards. And Mike Lloyd caught 4 passes for a total of 21 yards. Toms River East, meanwhile, ran 15 plays, had 4 first downs. Pat Slevin carried the ball 4 times for 36 yards. Gearity 4 times for 13 yards. Joey Scott was 1 for 2 for 14 yards. However, the big statistic is Toms River East 6, Toms River South 0.
Chuck Potter, the soccer coach of East, is here. Chuck, I understand your club was in action. Was that regular season or state tournament? Who'd you play, and what was the results?
Well, that was the end of our regular season. Today we played Middletown North and won 3-1. Mike Benson scored 2 goals. That gives him 30 goals and 7 assists for the year. Right now he leads the Shore in scoring, and he's in the top 10 in the state in scoring.
All right, what's coming up for you next week?
Monday, right here at Toms River East, we'll play Jackson at 3 o'clock, opening round state tournament.
Okay, well, wish you good luck, and congratulations on wrapping up the regular season on a winning note.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Chuck Potters,
soccer coach, and the East Raiders have had quite a year in soccer, as they were in contention there all the way with the Mariners for that Class A South title, which North finally won, and then made a good showing in the Ocean County Tournament final, losing the strong Brick Memorial in a very close game. And of course, Woody French has continued his dynasty from Brick High School over to Brick Memorial, and since he's moved over there, Brick Memorial has replaced Brick Township as the #1 team in soccer.
Yeah, Woody does a tremendous job of coaching, and all of Ocean County actually, Ken, is a hot spot for soccer.
Les Conyers, of course, every year has a strong team at Toms River North. Roy Wilkins does a good job down at South. Ed Gratian had a great team at Central last year, went down to Lacey, had a very good year at Lacey for the first year school, and he's in the state tournament. So soccer, again, having a good year here in Ocean County. We are ready to go as the Indians will kick off. Jeff Lawton waiting for the signal. He'll do the kicking off, number 15 for the Indians. And the second half is underway. It's going to go to the far side. Gearity takes the ball at the 7, and he's up to about the 15 and finally goes down. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Raiders as they put the ball in play to start the second half.
And we did get a chance to see Lawton, and Ken, that's the young man we point out might have the best foot around.
First down play, and pick up about 3. The tackle was made by Bob Allen, number 71 for South.
Tom Malik, 42 and 77.
Malik also in there for the Indians. So 2nd down and 7 coming up for the Raiders. I was looking at the paper, Ray, with some of the leading rushers and scores. If we get a chance during the second half, maybe we can mention some of the leaders this year in the Shore area. 2nd down play for the Raiders. And here comes the wingback, Chiarella, coming around right to left. And the Indians defense it fairly did a darn good job there. Scott Brewitt, the outside linebacker, was not fooled. He was there to make the tackle. Loss on the play of about a yard. 3rd and 8. Slevin back in for the Raiders.
On about the 21-yard line of each.
Well, it'll be interesting, Ken, to see what adjustments have been made both offensively and defensively by both teams, and whether the Toms River South offense can come out and look as impressive as it did in the first half, but this time put some points on the board.
Right, we haven't mentioned the crowd tonight, but it looks like we got a pretty nice crowd. We got a lot of people down in the end zone to our right watching down by the refreshment stand. Scott to throw. Pump fakes, runs out of the pocket. He's going to keep. And Scott's got a 1st down. Joe Scott makes the big play. Flag afterwards. Now let's see if that's going to be a unsportsmanlike call after the tackle against the Indians.
Well, there's a couple possibilities there, Ken. That there's that particular possibility, and there was a potential late hit by one of the Raiders there also. I think we'll see the play here.
Chiarella goes in motion.
Here, now watch. All right, now if we watch close at the end of this play, watch in here, you'll see a Raider come in right there.
There it is. Late block by Tom Zariz. The tackle was made by Bob Allen, that senior tackle, the player who joined the team after the opening game and has played himself into a starting position.
1st down, Raiders.
Ken, you mentioned the statistics there before while we got this little break. The story of the Ocean County statistics is Pete Panuska of the Bricktown Green Dragons. Panuska has 712 yards, 9 TDs, and has carried the ball 95 times.
I'll tell you the thing that impressed me about Panuska is he's such a gentleman. We had him on as a player of the game after they beat East, and no touch of that he's got a big head at all. He's just a team man. He praised his line, and I was really impressed by Panuska as an individual. Well, after the penalty was marched off, the Raiders try a running play. They need tons of yardage. It was 2nd and about 25 after that penalty on the late block by Toms River East. So the Raiders are in a hole right now. They'll have second down and, what'd you say, 20, Ray? Maybe 22 yards to go.
I don't know how long it is, Ken, but George Jeck was looking at a road map over there.
They're almost out here on Route 37. Here come the Raiders. They send Chiarella in motion. Scott's throwing. Coming to Slevin, intercepted.
We got
Tommy
6.
Forrester's going to go for a touchdown. Tommy Forrester was in excellent position, and Scott floated that ball out to Slevin, and Forrester takes it in for the touchdown. Here's a replay, Ray.
Yeah, the Indian defense did a great job. Everybody is covered. Now you'll see it here, a little motion, inside play fake. Scott drops back. It's a dangerous pass this crossfield, and Forrester steps right in there. And of course, right now the Indians have this young man with the real good foot.
We're going to call that a 23-yard touchdown. The line of scrimmage was a 23-yard line, so it was actually longer than that he ran, but from the line of scrimmage, 23 yards. Time of that touchdown, 9 minutes, 19 seconds of the third period. The Indians are right back in here, 6-6 now. It's anybody's ball game once again.
Well, Ken, it's really ironic that their offense did such a great job in the first half of controlling and moving the football, and their defense comes out and scores early.
And it's ironic that Forrester, the man who runs that offense, is the man who goes in for the touchdown. So the Indians make the big play, one quarterback intercepting the other, and Indians have called timeout here. And with Lawton, you can be sure they're going to kick this extra point and take the lead here. They got one of the best extra point men, maybe in the state, certainly at the shore, in veteran Jeff Lawton.
Yeah, this young man has a real good foot.
The holder is Scott Galanos. And it's a bad snap. High, Galanos will have to run with it. He throws it, incomplete. So Lawton, we just got done telling you what a great kicker he is, and he's foiled. He never had a chance on the high snap. So the score remains 6-6.
Yeah, that was a real key play there. I know that Coach LaBarca would like to have that one back because Lawton is pretty much automatic.
So while we await this kickoff, Ray, any other stats?
Well, if we want to talk about Ocean County people, the leading passer ranked in the top 10 from Ocean County is Mike Ryan from Toms River North. He's 48 for 105 for 616 yards, 4 TDs, and Bob Calabro from Lakewood is also ranked among the top passers in the shore. He's 40 for 77. The leading receiver, Ken, is Jay Ryan from Toms River North. He's got 31 catches for 429 yards and 3 TDs.
Yeah, Tony Graham was asking me about Jamie Ryan. I said, is he that good? And I said, he certainly is. He's been one of the best athletes around here for 2 football seasons, both offensively and defensively for the Mariners. Yes. You were mentioned, I want to comment on Calabro. You mentioned him, the Lakewood Pirates. We'll see him in our game tomorrow. Here's Lawton's kick. Very long kick. Back at the 5 goes Gearity. Now here's a whistle blowing the play dead.
It's the second time tonight we've seen this, Ken.
And they're going to bring it back. You mentioned Calabro. Apparently, we saw him in the first game of the year on our first game of the week against Lacey. And I was talking to Ronnie Emmert, giving me a little scouting report, the Southern coach, and he was quite impressed by the improvement of Calabro and his passing ability.
Yeah, Calabro came into the season, and the question mark was whether he could throw the football or not. And he doesn't have the classic spiral on the ball, Ken. It goes out there and flops around a little bit, but he's been very productive, and he gets the ball to his receivers.
Well, the Indians are penalized 5 yards, apparently offsides on a play, so they'll have to kick it from the 35-yard line, and I don't think that's going to bother Lawton too much. He gets another good kick. Fielded at the 10-yard line. Here comes Gearity. And Gearity makes a nice return. Good blocking by the Raiders. They get it across the 30 to about the 32-yard line, 1st and 10 for Toms River East.
Right, and Ken, and of course tomorrow you're going to, people have seen Southern Regional, but again they'll get reintroduced tomorrow. They get to look at Thunder and Lightning, Terrence Jordan and Gary Edwards for the Lakewood Piners.
Terrence Jordan was our first player of the week in that win over Lacey for his long touchdown runs in that game.
And Edwards has come on very strong, Ken. I think you'll see that tomorrow.
I have a comment from our director I'd like to make in a moment when we get a chance. Scott, the quarterback, keeps on the play. I would love if the fans could only hear what I hear in my headphones, right? It would be very interesting if it could only go over the air. Can I quote you on that, Tim? I'm talking to our director, Tim Everett, who's making some comments in the background here. And he will not let me quote him, so I won't be able to put it over the air. 2nd down and 8 to go.
Maybe on home box.
Maybe on home box, yeah. Here we go. Chiarella in motion. And Scott gives to 24, Gearity. No, it's Slevin, 28. And Slevin's going to be short of the 1st down. He's up to about the 40-yard line. 3rd down and 4. Bialuck and McHarris on the stop for the Indians.
And I'm very impressed with the way Slevin hits the hole. He really hits the hole quickly.
Adam Glanzman in at tight end for the Raiders, replacing McKelvey. By the way, you know what the nickname is for Jay McKelvey, our player of the game last week? The Stork. And we'll comment on that. Well, I know where they got that one from. Our directors figured it out. Slevin tripped up as he went across the line, had a hole, and lost his balance.
Near 1st down territory.
Number 42 for the Indians made the tackle, Tom Malik, a sophomore.
Close to the 1st down, Ken. They're going to measure.
Here's the replay. Let's see if he's tackled here or what happened.
Number 340.
And I think he trips over his own man's foot.
Yep. No Indian got a hand on him. Measurement here.
858. Will the winner come up to the booth? The prize tonight is
and they got a 1st down.
$150.
Ken, also, I believe, I don't know the exact statistic, but Jay McKelvey is in the top 50 students in his class out of 500 and some juniors at Toms River East. I think 27 or 26, I heard.
Well, those long legs, there he is back in a tight end on the right side, Jay McKelvey. With those long legs, 6'3", they call him the Stork after Ted Hendricks, the great defensive player of the Oakland Raiders. One Raider to another Raider. Here we go. Slevin fighting hard. Got maybe 3-4 yards. Bialuck on the stop for the Indians.
Number 7 and 56, Bob Bialuck make the tackle.
It'll be 2nd and 7 for Toms River East. The ball just crossed the 45-yard line.
340-858.
And George Jeck continues to alternate his tight ends with the plays, Glanzman and McKelvey. Scott rolling out, and he's going to go down for a loss. Good pressure. McHarris got him, number 76, and Bialuck, number 56. We have to take a timeout.
76 on the tackle.
Yards, Ray.
Yeah, it was a super run, Ken, and I think if you get the, if we do get the replay
we are
on
going to
this,
get it. And watch how he cuts back against the green.
yeah, that's the super part of the play. You watch the people there come across and block, and there's a wall there of Raiders. You can see them, McKelvey and some other people, and he cuts behind
Chiarella
them.
turns up the speed to come up and help
Right.
out. 43-yard touchdown run by Vinnie Gearity. Credit Joe Scott for making an excellent pitch as he was being hit by Bob Allen, number 71 of the Indians. Excellent play all around, great blocking, and Chiarella really hustled to get down there and get in front of the play to lead the blocking. Time of that score, 5:27 of the 3rd quarter. Chiarella in motion.
Going for 2.
Jump pass over the middle, broken up by McHarris. I believe it was Joe McHarris who got his hand on that football.
Joe
Big Bubba made the block, and it's going to be 12-6 Toms River East.
Ken, one of the things that that I missed there, and I should have checked on that quick pitch, they came out and ran it so on a short count, is whether they went unbalanced. But that corner of the Indians is really soft, and the Raiders took advantage of it that time. And a great cutback and super downfield blocking.
So, Gearity electrifies the crowd here with that 43-yard romp, and East regains the lead. Verderosa waiting to kick off. East next week travels to Central Regional in our game of the week as part of another doubleheader. We'll also have Toms River South and Toms River North.
Civil War.
Short kick. 5-yard return. Loose football. Darnell Myers, 35, returned that football, but the Indians have retained possession.
Big hit was on that play was made by number 16 for the Raiders, Stephen DeMezia, 5'5", 133 pounds.
Indians now have the ball 1st and 10 at the 34-yard line. Hageman flank now comes in as the wingback on the left side. Lloyd is a tight end to the left, I formation. Tailback on the call. And that should be Jimmy Ware. Jimmy Ware, the ball carrier. Ernie Williams alternating with Hageman now for the Indians with plays. Pick up a 5, 2nd and 5.
Game was for about 5, 2nd and 5.
Raiders have stayed with their basic defense all night.
Here comes Ware, tried to cut back against the grain and was nailed, but he may have a first down. Very close. There you see Coach George Jeck and Mike Conlon, one of his assistants. Jeck continues the pace.
Yeah, I think he's got the first down there, Kenner. It's very, very close. McKelvey was in on a tackle, closing down from the end.
First down, Indians.
Ken, I think there's well, wait till after this play.
1st and 10 Indians at the 45. Ware again, fumble. Loose football is punched out of there, and East has the football.
Now, that's a big play, and the Raider defense starting to assert itself a little bit. And one thing you can't do, you can't turn the football over, and particularly here, they give the Raiders real good football position.
Replay, Pat Slevin was on the football, number 28 for East.
Never gets the handoff real good.
He almost fumbled it back in the backfield.
Right.
And there's Slevin on the bottom of the stack there with the football. Here come the Raiders, 1st and 10 at the Toms River South 43-yard line.
3:52 on the clock.
Chiarella in motion. Scott just barely gets the handoff, and Slevin's not really going to go anywhere. Doug Palhemus in there, number 77. Ken Scott, number 82, to make the stop. Slevin limping a little as he goes back to the huddle. Somebody had a hold of his leg as he was receiving the football, and he got twisted there, and he's going to limp off for a breather here.
Ken, actually, he was sort of sitting on one of his own players there for a second. He wasn't actually down.
2nd and 10. Option, Scott keeps. And Scott spins forward for a couple extra yards. Doug Palhemus, defensive tackle, number 77, and makes the tackle for the Indians. Scott picks up about 4. It'll be 3rd and 6.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that the Toms River East hasn't thrown a football more, but of course, talking to George Jeck after the game last week, he said he came in all pumped up to throw it, went right back to ground pounding it.
Wing right.
Joe Scott, the pass flag, and this play is blown dead. No play.
Ken, while we got this little delay here, I think we talk about the big guys and the superstars all the time. There's a young man on this Toms River East football team that deserves a mention, number 43, Ronald Kern. Stands 4'11", 106 pounds. He's a sophomore. Must be a tough.
10.
Got to be a tough little guy.
You noticed him warming up last week down on the sidelines. His size certainly caught your eye.
My kind of football player.
Five-yard penalty against East. 3rd and 12.
Ken, he's got to be tough just to wear the equipment with that size.
Scott the throw, no! Now he scampers away and finally tackled for a big loss. And I believe it's Scott Brewitt, the linebacker. He refused to give up. Scott got away from him, and then Brewitt just continued to chase him and nails him for a big loss.
Yeah, number 32, Scott Brewitt, did a super job there and really hung on. He got that death grip and didn't let Scott. And Scott makes a quick drop. Drops back there real well, and he did a super job. Not only did you see him get his hands up to block Scott's vision also.
Verderosa gets a low snap, but he manages to come up with it. It's going to go out of bounds at the end of the east or the south bench, somewhere around the 30-yard line. So Toms River South takes over as they make the big plays on defense to stop the Raiders. Penalty hurt the Raiders too. And South takes over 34-yard line.
Yeah, 1 minute and 32 seconds to go in the third quarter. Ball's at about the 32, 33-yard line.
Rob Wheeler up over the ball for the Indians. They go on a quick snap. Got maybe 4 yards. The ball carrier, Jim Ware. Chris Schiavo looks to the sideline for Ed Sarluca's defensive signal. 2nd and 6. Clock showing 1 minute and 8 seconds left. Third period. We have a 12-6 ball game. The home team leading Toms River East. Here's a mix-up. McHarris is trapped, tries to spin loose. Looked like Forrester and McHarris had a little mix-up on the handoff. Flag on the play, no gain.
Yeah, there was definite mistake made in the Indian backfield. Either the quarterback pivoted the wrong way or the back turned the wrong way. And then we got the penalty on the play. It's against South.
Clipping.
Well, that's going to be a big one, Ken. That hurts their field position a little bit, moves them way back to their 21-yard line.
Bruce Russell, number 32, is into the ball game on defense for the Toms River East Raiders. And he's lining up as looks like either left end or left outside linebacker.
South's alternating Hageman and Williams bringing in the plays from Coach Chippy LaBarca.
Forrester split to the near side.
Set inside.
Fumble
again.
Now let's see if it was before or after the whistle. Apparently after the whistle. Raiders don't like the call.
Yeah, I think that's a justifiable call.
Jimmy Ware was the ball carrier. It'll be 3rd down and very long yardage. Close to.
South has had a little trouble holding on to the ball in the second half at critical times.
3rd and about 25. Forrester comes to the near side. Or Hageman to the near side, Forrester to the far side. Draw. McHarris nowhere. Raiders make the play defensively. Chris Schiavo on the tackle, the middle linebacker for Toms River East. And the clock running down, 3 seconds. That's the end of the third quarter. Let me tell you that the third quarter came your way tonight by the New Jersey National Bank, along with the House of Paneling, Richards Motors South, and Carolina Furniture. Toms River East 12, Toms River South 6, and we'll be back in a moment. Ken Turp with Ray Wilson, fourth quarter ready to go. Toms River South has the football. Fourth down.
Long 20 for
Lawton
first.
back on his 5, the 10 rather, to punt this football away. He should get excellent field position. High snap, but he's got it. And they're going to let it bounce. Takes a Raider bounce and covered immediately by the Indians.
The snap was a little high, Ken, but it was a good quick snap and got back there real well.
So the Raiders have it just across the midfield stripe in the South territory at the 49-yard line.
Key series, I'm sure that the Toms River South defense would like to limit the Raiders to 3 plays here, and conversely, the East would like to use up a little clock while scoring.
Wing right. And they go to Gearity. Tackle made by Bialuk and Scott. Second down, 8 to go. I was looking at the predictions on this game, and most of the people were going by 2 touchdowns, although there was one score of 17 to 14. But everybody going with East to win this game tonight. South hanging tough. Here's the screen, dropped by Slevin. Breaking up the play was number 72, Charlie Tull, defensive end for the Indians.
And it was good, real good defensive pressure applied by number 76, Joe McHarris, 6 foot, 225-pound senior.
Third down for the Raiders. Valente comes to the near side as a split end. Chiarella the slot back. Flag on a play. Draw by Slevin's got a first down, but I believe you're going to have illegal procedure by the Raiders. Schiavo kind of jumped the gun. Let's see if that's the call.
Yeah.
It is against the Raiders. They'll bring that one back.
That was a nice looking play. Good looking play, but to no avail, and will now give the Raiders a third and looks like 12, Ken.
And Bubba McHarris says, let's huddle up here, gang. Number 76, Big Bubba, defensive captain of the Indians.
Bubba's an enthusiastic guy. I remember working with Bubba a little bit last year at the alumni football game they had. Bubba was around. He was really a nice, pleasant kid.
All right, third and 12 or 13 to go. 4 Toms River East. Ball back in their own territory at the 47. Scott the throw. He's being pressured. Never had a chance. Scott Brewitt was blitzing, and Brewitt again gets Joe Scott as he did on a previous series of plays in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was a nice defensive play, and the Indian front line is playing real well right now. I think we're going to get a second look at it. They got their front 7 up there, and here they come. He comes from his outside position, and both outside people, Brewitt and McHarris, playing little games there.
Good snap to Verderosa, but a bad kick, very bad kick. Off the side of his foot. Good coverage and a good bounce here as the Raiders down that football. Looked like it was going to go out of bounds very quickly at midfield, but then it straightened out and took a good roll.
Yeah, that took a real Raider bounce, and fortunately for them, it crossed over the 50-yard line.
But the Indians have the football back again, and Indians have hung very tough here. They're only down by 1 touchdown. They want to move the football now and go for a score. Dial's going to get 4 or 5 yards on first down. Making the stop was Yatesy, number 7.
Ken, we're talking now. We got 9:19 on the clock. The It's a 6-point ball game, and a touchdown by Toms River South would tie, and without putting the jinx on again, they do have Lawton, who's almost automatic.
6-yard gain by Wayne Dial to be 2nd and 4. And this time Verderosa storms through there to nail McHarris for a loss.
A super play by Verderosa that time.
That'll bring up 3rd down for the Indians. Hageman back in with a play from LaBarca. It's going to bring 3rd and call it about 6. So they lost about 2 yards. Tailback. And Slevin helps close the hole. The initial hit was made by Chuck Seigler, number 66.
One thing you notice, Ken, when the Indians come out on offense, their offensive formations have the East defense pretty well spread out. And it's causing them, I think, to make a few adjustments in their defensive concept.
If the East can win this ball game, they'll not only clinch a playoff berth, but they'll have the bragging rights of Toms River, since they've already beaten Toms River North. North and South will meet next week in our game of the week at Toms River South. Lawton gets it away. Line drive kick, and Gearity returns it for 7 yards. Ball's on the 36, 1st and 10, Toms River East, back on offense.
7:45 on the clock, and now time is really becoming of importance.
George Jeck sends in Joe Scott after telling him what he wants him to do.
Of course, Ken, you know, George Jeck didn't want to talk about it last week, but there is that possibility of a rematch, the Raiders and the Green Dragons.
And here goes Slevin, not much room. Falls forward for a yard or 2. Tull, number 72, and Scott Brewitt, the linebacker, in on a stack for Toms River South.
And of course, George said he didn't want to talk about it or think about it, but I got a feeling it's in the back of his mind, and he sort of relished the idea.
Yeah, we'll have East again next week against Central Regional, and on Thanksgiving Day with Brick Memorial. 2nd and 8. Schiavo gets some good yardage. He's going to be short of the 1st down by about 2 yards. Making the stop for the Indians was number 42, Tom Malik.
And to cross over and talk about South Jersey Group 3 for a minute, Ken, if the Indians would manage to come from behind here, they're trailing 12-6, and to win the ball game and stay in the playoff picture, they would have to possibly contend with a tough Cherokee football team in South Jersey.
All right, here's a big play for the East offense. 3rd and less than 2. Schiavo, and I don't think he got it.
No, I don't think so, Ken. I don't think it's close.
East offense looking very sluggish here tonight. Except for the big plays, such as the touchdown run by Gearity.
Of course, the front 7 of the Indians has done a super job. They've applied good pressure. McHarris has been applying pressure. Bylock's been doing a good job, and number 71, Bob Allen.
Indians dropping Williams back. Verderosa this time gets a high one. Far side fair catch at the 20-yard line. So Toms River South takes over. This ball is going back and forth now as both teams' defense are controlling the tempo of this football game right now. 5:25 left in the game. East leading South 12-6. If you're the East defense, you got to be very uneasy now, Ray, because this South offense can pull a big play off any time. This time they hit Bobby Hageman, number 44, one of the standout all-around athletes on this team. They haven't been throwing to Hageman much. They didn't last week at all. And he is a excellent athlete. He played a lot as a sophomore last year.
He's a good size kid, 6'1", 172 pounds, has pretty good looking hands.
We have a timeout as Hageman was very close to a first down. They'll measure. They have to bring the chains in from across the way.
Kid, I think that the next time that South comes out of the huddle, the interesting thing is to look at the Raider defense, and you will see how the offense of Toms River South has them a little bit out of position, trying to get ready for the pass. At the same time, they have to be run conscious and shut off people like McHarris and Ware.
Well, they're just a little bit short. Second down, less than a yard. Forrester behind his guard, cuts it inside, and he's got a first down. Almost trapped back there, but he managed to get out of it, and he picks up the first for the Indians at the 40-yard line.
See, that time you get a look at it, the front four for the Toms River East Raiders were in normal position, but their cornermen were a little bit soft. The monster men seemed to be playing back off the line of scrimmage a little bit more than they normally would. Now they're up. A little bit of invert tendency here, too.
Fake to the tailback, and Lloyd finally caught the ball. He juggled it for about 4 or 5 yards, but he had possession. Yatesy on the coverage.
Lloyd
is really limping as he gets up. He picked up about 5 on the play. 2nd and 5 for South. And Lloyd is still trying to shake off that injury to his leg. And he's going to have to go out for a moment.
Yeah, Toms River South runs that little play action out pass to the tight end real well. And they deliver. Forrester delivers the ball. If you watch them in their pregame, you can tell they work on it. He delivers the ball before the receiver turns around.
2nd and 5. Joe Galicchio's in there replacing Lloyd. Here comes Dial, another first down, Indians. Excellent hole by South.
Yeah, that's that little inside counter that they've had a lot of success with, Ken. And we're down now to it's 3:41 on the clock, and Toms River East is not out of the woods, and Toms River South is not yet out of the playoff picture.
Chevrier makes the stop, but not before South advances across midfield into East territory. 3 minutes, 25 seconds left in this game. Forrester rolling. Now he's trapped. He's going to take the loss. Slevin was there, number 28. And he had help by Schiavo as they converged on Forrester for the loss. We'll take a quick timeout, come right back.
Full circle.
East takes over. Ray, who got that football?
Trying to see, Ken.
May have been Schiavo, 47. I'm not sure. But anyway, the Raiders have the ball at the Toms River South 47-yard line.
Here we go.
Let's
we'll get a
watch
look
the
at it now,
replay.
Ken. He fumbled right in the backfield. Yeah, it was.
It was 47, Chris Schiavo. Raiders lead 12-6. They have the football. Chiarella in motion. Schiavo's got a lot of room. Schiavo's got a first down. He's down to the 35-yard line. Williams, the safety, makes the stop for the Indians.
Yeah, South basically had 7 defenders on the line of scrimmage, 1 linebacker in the middle. You get a look at it here. Now the man backs off there. It looked like a 7-diamond type defense. Appearance you will get out of the 4-3 a little bit.
Raiders made some nice blocking. They took out Brewitt, the linebacker on that side, and that enabled Schiavo to get the room to go for the big gainer.
1:56 on the clock and running.
Slevin's got a big hole. Slevin cut to the sideline, and Williams finally catches him. Fumble, and the Indians get it. What a wild game this has been. Number 7, Bob Laffer, fell on the football. Ernie Williams, with that speed, did not allow Slevin to get down on that sideline and cut him off, and Slevin just lost the football.
Slevin looks so intent on fending Williams off here that he just loses concentration of football, and I'll tell you here, the way the Indians can air it out, this football game is not over.
Bob Laffer, the cornerback, makes the fumble recovery.
There's that little out
Here's
pass.
the pass, Forrester to Forrester. First down.
Now we should see the Indian hurry up offense, 2-minute O, whatever you want to call it at this point.
Second down and 1 to go for Toms River South. Forrester looking, pressure by Verderosa. McKelvey, he gets away,
Got a man
throws on a
open.
run. Williams is behind the secondary, incomplete. Williams got behind Chiarella, but incomplete.
And Forrester down over there, Ken. He
Forrester
is
is
down on the
hurt.
ground.
Let's pick up Forrester back at the, we're going to see a replay on this. There's Verderosa and McKelvey chasing him. Throws on the run, and incomplete. Forrester is lying back at the 20-yard line.
Yes,
There you see him.
Sal Chiarella was back there to make the big defensive play, and I believe it was Verderosa that put in the big hit on Forrester.
51 seconds. There you see a shot of this time. 51 seconds left in this game. Really exciting ball game. The Indians giving the Raiders everything they can handle, playing excellent football, and Toms River East coming off that very emotional game with Southern last week, having their hands full here, trying to clinch their playoff spot.
Yeah, Toms River South is giving the Raiders all they can handle. They came to play tonight, and they've been in this football game all the way. Can I see number 10 come onto the field? Rich Palhemus, 5'4", 123 pounds, listed here. Another guy, my kind of football player, a sophomore listed as a quarterback coming in for the Toms River South Indians.
Well, one of the things from what we've seen is that nobody's really played quarterback this year except Forrester. Even in the game that they had, such as Central Regional, where they had the 3-touchdown lead, they did not, I don't remember them putting in one of the younger quarterbacks.
No, I don't remember.
So
either.
I would have to think that Palhemus is pretty well untested in varsity play. He sure does look like he's going to have a problem seeing over that line of scrimmage.
I think here, possibly he might be in here for one play.
He's just a youngster, and he's got his initiation as Seigler really put a hit on him. Welcome to Class A South.
Yep.
We're going to have a replay on this. And Palhemus got his baptism very quickly here.
Yeah, that's tough for a young kid.
Let's watch the replay as they put the pressure on.
This is Mr. Palhemus, meet Mr. Seigler.
Actually, Verderosa was the first one in there
to
disturb everything, and then Seigler just polished it off.
And a quarterback with that size does present some problems. He has trouble seeing receivers. And, Ken, that's one thing that Ron Emmert does at Southern Regional all the time. He always has a good, big quarterback that has very little difficulty seeing over those defensive linemen.
Well, Chip LaBarca is in the huddle with Toms River South. There you see LaBarca to the right of your screen. We're having a difficulty here. We got to choose a player of the game that's been pretty even. We'll make a decision here. We got 41 seconds left in this game. And of course, this game isn't over yet. As long as the Indians have that football, they're a threat. Chip LaBarca is really instructing his club. Forrester is back in there at quarterback.
And the way he can air it out. Now, Ken, a good look here. Look at the East defense. I mean, the East defense is spread out all over the field. Everybody has a key. They're trying to pick up different things here, and they'll move. Look at the movement.
Forrester to throw. He's got McHarris, and a good tackle by Yatesy.
And a first down.
First down Indians. They call timeout to stop that clock. 33 seconds left in the game.
Now again, of course, the clock would have stopped on the movement of the change, but
we're going to see a replay on this.
You can.
We're trying to decide. Right.
Man is open right over the middle.
We're going to have to go defensively, I think, in a game like this, Ray, on our player of the game. Even though certainly Gearity made a great play on his touchdown run, but I think defense has pretty well dominated this game tonight. So we're going to name Chuck Seigler, defensive tackle, as our player of the game, number 66.
Well,
Ray, I'll tell you what, we'll also give a plaque to Gearity for the clinching touchdown. So we'll have co-players of the game, right? It'll be Gearity offensively and Seigler, but I think defensively Seigler was the player who helped key that line and make the big plays. So congratulations, Chuck Seigler has been a standout for 3 years for the Raiders for being player of the game, along with Vinnie Gearity for his big play on offense.
Yeah, we got something going here. Everybody's touching the football.
Throwing and dropped by Lloyd. Stops the clock with 27 seconds left. A little razzle-dazzle by the Indians. Ernie Williams throwing a pass, but Lloyd couldn't handle it.
Yeah, everybody touched the football on that play. I think it was, as we've been told earlier in the year, you'll see it right here. We get a little pitch, reverse
Dial
handoff,
hands off to Williams.
and he throws the ball out in flat
Lloyd.
Pattern, a post pattern there, or a flag pattern for Lloyd.
Forrester to dial to Williams, who threw the ball to Lloyd.
Who was going to lateral to the band director.
2nd and 10. Forrester throwing, intercepted by Vinnie Gearity. Vinnie Gearity, I think, was out of bounds, but let's see.
Well, we got a flag back here.
He was tight-roping down a sideline. Flag way back.
Flag on the play. I think we're...
Flag back at the 35, 40-yard line.
Came early, too, Ken. The flag was thrown right away.
Yeah, was it clipping after he made the interception, or we're going to see a replay, so let's see if we see anything.
You might have been calling interference there, Ken. I'm not sure.
I'll have to wait and see what they do. But the clock shows 15 seconds left in the game. One of our players of the game just intercepted that pass, Vinnie Gearity. Pass interference against the Raiders. Apparently the call. We're going to send Ray down to the field for our post-game show. Raider fans booing the call. Time for maybe 2 plays, maybe 3. 15 seconds if they keep throwing the ball. Forrester almost slips. And he's got his man, but he can't get out of bounds, as Chiarella will not let him budge. Now they finally stop the clock with 5 seconds left. Yeah, it was a very good play by Chiarella, who refused to let that man get out and stop that clock, and valuable time went off that scoreboard. First down Indians. I believe that was Hageman on the reception, although it was difficult to see the number over there in front of the Indian bench. 5 seconds left in the game, 12-6 East. Indians in East territory. Forrester looking to the sideline. He's going to Hageman, intercepted, and that's the end of the ball game. Chiarella intercepts, and that's the end of the game. Final score, Toms River East 12 and Toms River South 6 in a very tough, well-played football game with both defensive clubs looking sharp tonight. Ray and I will be back for the post-game show. Let me tell you, the fourth quarter came your way tonight by the New Jersey National Bank, along with Carolina Furniture, Dunkin' Donuts of Bayville, and Marita Skiers Place. Stay tuned for our post-game show and our players of the game.